Well, good evening, everyone. It is currently 10:19 p.m. I am doing a kind of a late night earthquake update. I have not been on here for a while, so excuse the fact that I have not uploaded in a while. So, earthquake update. This struck this morning at 5 a.m., 5:51 a.m. this morning, 4.6 off the coast of Oregon. Let me just check. Okay, that was on the slippage fault, so not quite on the fracture zone, but that's okay. In fact, that's pretty good because that would have more pressure on, Mount Hood and all of the Cascadia subduction zone. So, let's go. Oh, what's this? Check that out later. So, overall view, we have an earthquake down in Vanuatu, a 5.6. That's pretty interesting. Wow, really deep earthquakes. I know that around the Fiji, Vanuatu area, there's a lot of deep earthquake activity that just takes place all the time. 5.1, 24 kilometers northwest of Kazaki, Turkey. Very interesting. Okay, 4.8 Greece. Yeah, pretty regular day. A lot of, normal activity along here. Okay, let's check right here. Hawaii. I was there in August. Not this island, but the volcanically extinct islands of Kauai. Very beautiful. Pahala swarm continuing. That's been a continuation of that swarm since like May. Kilauea, it erupted. Not pronounce the crater name, but it's like Haluamu or something like that. But yeah, let's check. So, recent earthquake there. Oh, okay. Was wrong. This did not. That striked 5:51 UTC. So let's check, because I wonder, it must have struck pretty recently if it well, not much, but it was at 10 kilometers of depth. Pretty normal for an earthquake. Japan, a 4.6. Alaska. Tons of activity up in Alaska. Pretty deep quake taking place northern Alaska. Okay, Yellowstone, or is that Idaho? Well, there was one in Yellowstone. That actually took place in Montana, didn't it? Yep. Idaho, that's what I was looking for. Earthquakes in Idaho. Down in the Tetons. No, pretty usual. However, one thing that I do want to point out that I noticed was that, and not a lot of people notice this, is that there was actually a 4.0 earthquake on the New Madrid, kind of near the New Madrid fault zone. So, and it definitely wasn't a foreshock to anything because it had, wait, let's see. This was at, wait, oh goodness, okay. This was at 11:18, 02 a.m. And this one was at 3 a.m. Yep. So this was not a foreshock, it was just, tiny earthquake, but that doesn't mean that it's nothing, because it definitely, I think it got felt by a few people. Okay. Well, now that we're done with that, let's go on PSN. I know I have that tab open, but that's for something a little else. Here, sorry for my guys, it's kind of like a habit. Wow, I just did it again. Okay, Sisters, there was a 1 earthquake there. Newberry, 1 earthquake. Crater Lake, 1 earthquake. Dang. Now, Hood, there's 10 earthquakes, and I'll get into that. St. Helens, 24 earthquakes. St. Helens, right now, with its activity, like, it's really, if the activity suddenly had a major uptick, then I might be a little concerned. But if there's 24 earthquakes, like, and that's a regular, then I'm not really in a, not that concerned. Okay, now we're gonna go to here. Okay, so this is something I wanted to talk about, as you can see in the title. Well, let's just put it this way. So a few months back, there was an earthquake swarm, June 6th, and it occurred, had like 200 earthquakes, microquakes that shook. I thought that it was gonna erupt or something. I seriously didn't know what was going on back then. But now we have further info. Okay. And this supports my reasoning of it erupting. So, this is the known information. The magma chamber is at 5 to 7 kilometers in depth underneath Mount Hood. That's probably a huge magma chamber, like this big. Probably as big as, like, say, the circle, but maybe not out to here. Just imagine under the mountain, there's a huge blob of magma, and it stretches from, in height, 2 kilometers, thick of just magma. And so, in June, that swarm that I was talking about, the earthquakes were about 3 to 5 kilometers in depth. So partially in the magma chamber, and what I believe is magma was moving up right then, right? In October, we had a earthquake swarm from 0.4 kilometers to 3 kilometers. That means you can see that the earthquakes are getting shallower and shallower. Now that stops at the November swarm, because we have an earthquake swarm taking place at 5 to 7 kilometers in depth. What I believe is that earthquake swarm that was at 5 to 7 kilometers in depth. That earthquake swarm was even more magma moving up to supply the eruption that I believe might take place in 2022, and I have reasoning for that. Just let me get through this. Then we have a late November swarm, which you can actually see here, November 17th. So there, it was at 4 to 7 kilometers, right? And or you could say 4.8 to 6.8 kilometers. So all this is really showing that there's magma moving up, but just the June swarm and the October swarm, that just wasn't enough magma to produce some form of an eruption. And so therefore it needed to supply more magma from the magma chamber. At the same time, I also think that the magma chamber is getting filled up even more because there are these earthquakes at like 7 kilometers in depth. And around here, the magma chamber is directly underneath. So that means that magma is filling up in the magma chamber. Now, right here, okay, a 0.6 earthquake, right? It's at 4.8 kilometers in depth. Here, 6.2 kilometers in depth. Here, they're all like, these are all deep earthquakes, but if you get up here, oh look, 2 kilometers in depth. Look here, 2 kilometers in depth. And there, 2.4 kilometers in depth. It really is showing that what I believe is that magma supply, there was a, how do I put it? There was a vent, or not a vent, I would say a tube of magma that is moving from here and moving north as it goes. And that's what feeds Crater Rock, which in this point, I believe that if this eruption happens in 2022, what I believe what will happen is we have a Crater Rock. It has major growth around and starts uplifting, right? After that, it collapses like it has done for the past 200 years. So it builds and collapses again and again. And so it will build, collapse. But what's kind of bad is because right here, Timberline Lodge is like right around here, which is a major skiing resort. So that it's really saddening that we would have to say bye to the Timberline Resort. Because, quite frankly, the pyroclastic flow from this lava dome collapsing, it would completely just take away this entire Timberline Lodge. So that's saddening, but at the same time, it's not out of your control, you know. And then I believe that it will start to have more eruptions and more eruptions. And it's grabbing a lot of magma, so it might be an eruption that would last a few months, if not longer. The reason why I think that it will erupt is because, in that time, is because we're going to have an earthquake swarm in, say, December or January that is going to, it's going to be at the surface, like not the surface, but like really close, like 1 to 2 kilometers. So, if we have an earthquake form there, that means that the magma is going to eventually reach the surface, and I'm going to say it's going to be around early 2022. So, like January, February, or March. Just my predictions. This could be totally tectonic. However, I think that is definitely not the case because what I'm pointing out is the magma chamber is 5 to 7 kilometers in depth underneath the volcano, and the magma chamber is pretty large. Most of the time, it's way larger than the volcano's edifice itself. So when we see an earthquake at like the magma chamber's depth, that tells you that there's activity going along in there, and it's not tectonic. So if USGS is saying that it's purely tectonic, these earthquakes that are like 5 to 6 kilometers in depth, they're definitely lying because the magma body is literally 5 to 7 kilometers in depth underneath the volcano, so it can't be tectonic when it's in there, guys. Thank you for watching my video. I hope that you will subscribe, and I'm sorry for not posting more. And yeah, I'm probably gonna post soon. I hope. So yeah, have a nice evening or day. And goodbye.